Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh, this is
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Think Outside Fishing Podcast. So this is kind of a cool episode here. I just finished up my last college fishing tournament last week at Wheeler Lake. Kind of got my butt kicked. I probably should have stayed retired, but I was there with some of the other UT fishing team members. I was like, well, why do we not do a podcast? So today I'm bringing on, hopefully they can load in here. I'm bringing on two of the guys that I kind of passed the team down to whenever I graduated last year. Man, they've done a great job. This is Matt Detling and Cody Domingos. What's up, guys? How are we doing?
What's up, Joey?
How's it going?
Good. Do you guys want to say, I guess, your guys' new job titles? I think I passed my role as president directly down to Cody. You want to talk about your role, and then Matt, you can kind of talk about yours?
Yeah, for sure. So, like Joey said, my name's Cody Domingos. I'm a junior here at the University of Tennessee. I came on the team my freshman year. Really liked what I was seeing. I took a leadership position right away. I took over our social media for a year, trying to revamp things there, and then worked a lot with Joey really closely. And then that kind of made the transition over to being president super easy for me. He gave us a lot of tasks and just like things to get us kind of nurtured into the program. And so the transition to president's been really easy. We've got a club now. It's growing every single year. We got 30 members on it right now. We usually have about 8 or 9 boats at every single event. And that's the most we've had. Like, Joey, that's the most we've had, probably double what we've ever had at every event.
That's awesome. Like, Matt, introduce yourself, but I'd like to talk about the team even when I was a freshman, too. It's incredible to see how much it's grown.
Yeah, so as a sophomore, I took over Joey's previous role as the sponsor relations chair. So me and Joey worked together when he was president. I was sponsor relations. And then once Joey and Jackson just quit being an officer, and I took over the VP role and kind of kept my sponsor relations role. So it's a VP role, but really I just deal with the sponsors. That's kind of my main job. And then I obviously work with Cody every day to whatever he needs.
What does it kind of entail, sponsor relations? I'm going to ask a lot of questions that I know the answer to, but I'm sure other people are going to be thinking that, like, hey, what does that even mean, sponsor relations? College kids get sponsors. Kind of what does that mean, Matt?
So as a sophomore, when I came in, I mean, we already had probably half the companies we have now, just through you and Teddy taking over.
Yep.
You guys kind of got us rolling in the right direction. And then once I took over, I had to manage those roles with the sponsors that we already had. Like GSM, like these other companies, like Under Armour. And then I kind of brought in a few more companies like Realtree. I got in contact with them. And just a couple other sponsors that we have, Volunteer Outdoors. Just they reach out to us. Obviously, Bridgeford. Joey, you were there when Bridgeford came on as our title.
That was cool.
That was kind of a team effort. That was definitely not just me. So just kind of managing, current relations and trying to go find new sponsors. As kind of the years have gone on, I've, gotten to know a lot of people. Everyone on the team knows a ton of people in the industry. So it's kind of there's no one way to reach out to sponsors or they reach out to you. I feel like every sponsor we've had has kind of been different in that sense. There's not a course to take. It just you kind of roll with it and kind of feel it out and see what happens. Go from there.
Yeah, it just kind of like ends up working itself out.
Yeah.
Right?
Literally.
Wow, that was kind of got a little lucky there, but this is freaking awesome. So I do want to talk about that team when I was kind of a freshman. It's just cool to see it evolve, even what it is now. I probably feel like right now is the best it's ever been after even talking to you guys. Having 9 boats at every tournament's incredible. When I was a freshman, man, I think it was like we might have had a lot of boats, but dude, we had no reimbursement. It was like I'd be driving to tournaments as a freshman. We wouldn't even have a place to stay. Like I'd be driving to the Harris Chain in Florida. We've all been to the Harris Chain many times, and it was like, all right, guys, where are we staying? Like it was incredible, like how just like much of a crap hole it was. Just like everyone's rolling up. We would still catch them, but it was fun. It was a fun experience, and to see it evolve whenever, huge shout out to Teddy Pesnola. he kind of took over when I was, I think, a sophomore. He was president, and then we were able to grow. Then y'all came on, and it's awesome to see, and it's still growing today. And y'all have one more year left of school, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are going to probably have the same roles, or you guys are going to pass them down?
Yeah, I think we're planning on keeping it.
Yeah, I think stick with it, and then just kind of do similar to what you did. Just give some other guys some tasks that they're going to have to do when they take over, just to get them mixed in pretty well.
So, okay, let's talk about what is college fishing for someone that doesn't know anything about college fishing. Even today, I'll talk like, I fish at University of Tennessee. Got the job here at GSM directly because of that. They're like, what is college fishing? I don't even really know what that is. What tournaments do you guys fish? Like, really explain how much you guys travel all over the country, because that definitely gets overlooked. And when I tell people that, it's like, it's incredible how much I did and even what you guys did now. Like, I just kind of talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I guess I can talk a little bit about it. So, I mean, we fish MLF, Major League Fishing events, Bassmaster events, and then ACA as well. I believe that's American Collegiate Association, like anglers, something like that, collegiate bass. So there's 3 main organizations that we fish under. Bassmaster, usually they're doing 3 events and 2 divisions. So there's 6 tournaments total. You kind of register for one division that you want to fish, and then you fish those 3 tournaments. MLF, their schedule changes every year. They actually just added a bunch of new tournaments in the fall. So they're keeping our fall schedule busy for us as well. And then ACA, usually they have the same, I think it's 4 events. They always go to Kentucky Lake for the Big Bass Bash, and then Pickwick, Hartwell, and then they'll have a national championship somewhere. But from those 3 organizations, those tournaments are all over the country.
Yeah, for sure. I guess you guys want to talk about the past 3-week stunt y'all have been on. It sounds pretty wild. I don't think I ever was on there over 3 weeks in college, but I think y'all just wrapped it up. How was it talking about the tournaments in them?
Yeah, this 3-week stretch was pretty crazy. We had spring break, so it was almost a 4-week stretch, really. I mean, Cody and I both went fishing places. So we were gone for a week for spring break, got back. I think we both went to a day of class and then took off to Kentucky Lake for a couple days of practice, fished the tournament. So we didn't do too great there, but then we went straight to Eufaula, Oklahoma. So it was another 8 hours. So we're almost 12 hours away from home at this point. Yeah. And then I had a pretty rough week until the last, couple hours of the tournament. And then we took off back. Actually, I had to.
All right, hold up. You got to at least talk about that.
Okay.
Come on.
Well, day 1, it was a 4-hour shootout because I don't even wind, tornadoes. I don't even know what was going on.
So not to cut you off, but what happened there? Like I was reading our group chat. I still don't even really know. Y'all showed up to the boat ramp. He told you to go home because the waves were so big, and then come back at 9, or like
no. So on day one, it was supposed to blow like gust to 50 at blast off, and we hadn't heard anything. I might be forgetting, but I think we hadn't heard anything until like the night of, and he was like, we might delay it or something.
He said when we were at check-in, he said we were going.
He said we were going. I'm like checking the weather, like, we can't go in this. And then we end up taking off at 11 and first check-ins at 3 because they don't delay. They didn't
move the check-ins. Like, no. Y'all had to just show up and fish for 4 hours.
Yeah. So like 3 bass, I think, had me and Mason sitting in, I can't remember, 50th, like for like 7. It was terrible. I mean, it was awful. And so day 2, we're like getting ready to leave in the morning. We think we're up in a full day, and we walk out, and it's fun. I mean, we're looking over the lake. We had a pretty cool Airbnb over the lake, and it just looks like fireworks going on 4th of July, just lightning everywhere. And we're like, we can't take off. Yeah. And so we get a text, like, we're pulling out of the driveway. Get a text that says, "Hey, just stay at your home. We'll let you know when to launch." And so we end up getting out we get a text like 9 saying like we're launching in 45 minutes or whatever. We're 30 minutes away. They launched in 30, and
Yeah,
we're
they
like,
launched early.
yeah, we're like
What?
pulling in, and they're on boat 30,
I
and
could
we're
probably
both. I think Cody and I were like about 85 and 80, and we're like, what the hell? So we're rushing to get in. We get like Cody and Jackson like drove straight in to check in.
Well, by the time I had parked Jackson's truck, we're boat like 93 or something. And he's like, boat 71. I can hear him and I'm in the truck. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I dumped Jackson in and I hauled butt to the parking lot, put it in park, and I'm sprinting through the parking lot, like passing people. I have clothes like all over the place, just going to the lake and like jump on the boat. Jackson power idles over, and we didn't even have a chance to like put it in neutral. We just get there and got right in line. We
Going,
made
right?
it.
Yeah.
It was terrible, but we all made it, I guess. I think one boat missed it, but so then we take off. We're fishing, and it's pretty big out there, like it's blowing. And there's like 3 or 4 of our boats fishing this one like little creek arm, and like about an hour into the day, we haven't caught crap. I think we lost one, and all of a sudden the lightning starts ripping around us, and we're like, oh god. So we like pull into this marina. There's probably like 10 boats in there. Will met us. Cody and Jackson met us. Cody and Jackson actually stayed out in the worst of it.
Wow.
It was pretty bad, but yeah. And then eventually, like boats left one by one, and me and Mason we're pretty down on our day. We're just like, it's over. Like it's like 11 o'clock. We haven't caught a bass.
Is this day 1 or day 2?
Day two. Day two.
Okay, day 2. Okay.
So and we're like, all right, we're like, we got to get to a formal. We had a formal in Georgia that we had to get to. So we had a 17-hour drive ahead of us. And we're like, all right, like we'll fish till like 1 or 2 or 1. And I was like, if we don't have anything, we're probably not going to catch them in the last 2 hours. Let's just get on the road, at least get
Loaded up, right?
Yeah. And Mason catches 2 like 1.5 pound spotted bass. And we're like, all right, like look, we just got to finish the day out. Like, we just got to get some team points. And then we pulled up shallow in this creek. Mason loses like a 4-pounder on a spinnerbait. Like 5 casts later, catches a 3.5. And then I caught like a 2.5. And so we had like 4 for like, I don't know, 9 pounds, I guess.
Yeah, 10 pounds,
Or,
yeah.
I guess 10 pounds. And there's like 2 trees in the water. And I was like, you know what? There might be a bass staging on this. Pick up a Senko, just whip it out there and flip. I see the fish on the scope. He doesn't eat the first time. Flipped in the second time, and I just lift up, and I was like, "Oh, there's one." Set the hook, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's huge!" And then it was a bit of a rodeo. Fish freaking! I mean, it was the hardest I've ever felt a fish pull. And Mason scoops it up, and it's 970 on our scale. It went 10-0 on the Bassmaster scale, so we're taking.
Yeah, that's a 10-pounder.
10 for sure.
I mean, that's one of the. That has got to be one of the biggest bass in Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma, right?
The record's 10.5.
10.5, yeah.
Like, what are the chances of that? So he was just kind of staging on some sticks or 2 little trees.
There was like 2, like, I don't know, they're probably 8-inch like wide trees that and like in the middle of this pocket, and it was just chilling there, I guess, waiting to go up to spawn. Because Mason caught those fish on a spinnerbait in like 8 inches of water. Like they were either spawning or thinking about it. Like they were up there,
way up there. Yeah.
In that area that we were all fishing, it was pretty clean water too, especially for Lake Eufaula. It's notoriously brown. I mean, it probably had like 3 foot in there.
Yeah, it was
3 foot at least.
I'm shocked we didn't see those fish.
Yeah.
So have y'all been practicing together? Also, Matt, congrats on a 10-pounder. That's like, it's lucky, but it's also not lucky.
Lucky.
Yeah, take that to your grave. I mean, in a tournament, qualify for the natty through. It's incredible.
That's pretty awesome.
You'll probably remember that for a long time. Have y'all been practicing together? I mean, I know for me, you guys used to give me crap. I was pretty tight-lipped when I fished. I didn't really tell y'all anything, or if I did, it was a total lie for straight to your face. But like, have y'all been practicing? Have y'all been practicing together, or kind of how's it going now since I've left? I'm kind of interested to know.
Honestly, I would say definitely practicing together a little more than we have in the past. Just trying to, I mean, not necessarily being like, during practice, like, oh, I'm catching them on a chartreuse brown or black back square bill that goes 2 feet, 12-pound test on riprap. Like we're not doing that because, you know, you gotta save your bite somehow, some way. But, you know, just giving little clues to each other, just seeing, you know, if someone's producing some bigger bites than the rest of the team, like what are you doing kind of, you know, am I in front of the fish, behind the fish? Am I just in the totally wrong area of the lake? Things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot more. Like I remember at the James River, our our freshman year, me and Austin, we were catching like maybe 5 or 6 bass a day in practice. You know how practice goes, and everyone's also like, "Oh, we're not catching a thing. Like we haven't caught a bass." You guys go crap out and even though it was 20 pounds in the
Yeah, like
first
an
day.
8-pounder too.
Yeah,
I had an 8-pounder on a Senko, dude. It was the craziest thing.
and you guys were like, "Oh yeah, we've been catching them." It's like, all right, well, we thought our like 11 pounds or whatever was gonna be good, and then we roll in and we're the worst boat there out of the 4. So everyone's just lying to us.
That tournament was crazy. Like we actually didn't catch that. We caught a bunch of little ones in practice. We weren't really on anything big. And Jackson forgot to fill up his boat the last day, of course, college fashion. We were all just idiots and disasters. We pull into this marina, dude, and it's low tide. And we see like 4 spawning together. I've never seen this before. Like 4 bass were spawning on one bed. I was like, what's happening here? So we see those. We go to one other little pocket, and they're literally like, I'm trolling down the bank, and everywhere you look, it's like bass, like 2-pounder, 4-pounder, 3-pounder, all swimming. Like, you know, when they're like swimming around up there shallow before they're about to spawn.
Yeah,
That's what they're doing. It was incredible. We pull her in the tournament and catch like an 8-pounder, lose a 5-pound. We should have had a mega bag, but it was incredible. Sorry, where were we at? I wanted to talk about me catching for one time.
I guess we were still in the middle of the travel. We got about halfway through our travel.
Yeah, we're through 2 tournaments.
Yeah. So anyway, we take off. Me and Mason take off to Formal in Savannah, Georgia. Cody and Jackson, you can talk about the rest of the trip.
A trip from hell. That's what it was. After Oklahoma, so we go to Oklahoma, and then after weigh-in, we didn't have much. I think we had 3 or 4 fish again on day 2. We packed all our stuff up the night before so we could leave right from the boat ramp because we wanted to try and get a day of practice in or half day of practice in Waterloo at Pickwick because we had the Pickwick Slam was there. So we drove through the night pretty much through all kinds of incredible rainstorms and thunderstorms when the rain was so bad you were going 20 miles an hour on the highway because you couldn't see 20 feet in front of you. And you got semis passing you going 85 because they don't care. And so we finally make it at like midnight, 12:30, something like that, get all unpacked, go straight to bed. And then kind of a slow morning the next day, we drove around the lake a bunch. We definitely just chose the wrong area of the lake to break down. The tail race I heard was pretty incredible. It seemed like anyone who went there caught 15 pounds with their eyes closed. And we did not have that pattern going. So we kind of sucked it up on that one, only had a day of practice. And so we fished the tournament day 1. We didn't even weigh. We had like 2 bass. And so we go back to the house. We're just hanging out. Then we're like getting all these notifications on our phone, like severe weather incoming, pretty much just like coming your way. And we were like, okay, like probably just some rain, lightning, it'll be fine. And we're hanging out. And then like all of a sudden we get like a tornado warning on our phone, me and Jackson both. And we were like, all right, that's just like a warning, you know, it's not actually going to happen.
It's nothing, right? Yeah.
And so then we're like, well, we should probably turn on the news and just see what's going on. And then it's like the news, there's a huge storm system right above where we're at. And it's like circling areas that are the likeliest for a tornado. And we're right in the middle of it. It's just like circled right in us. And we were like, okay, well, this is kind of sketch. Like, you know, probably still won't happen. And then like the tornado sirens go off. And it was just one thing after the other. And we were like, okay, man, like we should definitely, you know, just figure out where we're going to go if tornado does rip right through here. And I mean, we were as prepared as we could be. So we just kind of stuck it out. And then as we're like hanging out on the couch, just waiting for this storm to pass, I look over at the kitchen and there's just water. It's like standing water in the kitchen. I was like, dude, there's water right there. And then like we look at the door and there's water just dripping down from the doorway, just flooding the house. And we were like,
Water's flooding the house. Y'all are in like a tin
What
house,
is
weren't
that?
you? Like tin house, no basement till the tornado
yeah,
does.
yeah, it was just like a metal pole barn.
It's like a
Yeah.
shop.
We're like, if a tornado comes through here, we're going with it. And so that, yeah, then, another half hour goes by. There's more water coming in. There's water coming in through like half the light fixtures in the kitchen, water coming in above the fridge, water coming in through the stove top. It was
It's a
just like
disaster.
the whole, yeah. So then we put up some buckets and there was hundreds of gallons of water in the house at one point, I'm sure. We were walking around the house in our rain boots.
That's insane.
That was terrible.
Gosh. So then y'all went fishing the next day and at least finally cracked him after a
Yeah,
couple.
so they actually ended up canceling day 2 of the tournament just because I don't think they were sure when all that insane weather was supposed to clear. So they
Yeah.
just figured better safe than sorry. We'll just go ahead and cancel it because like right around blast off, I think would have been pretty sketchy. And so we were like, oh, well, we'll just go fishing day 2 and go have fun. And we're like, let's just go to the tail race. Like we've never done it, or I've never done it. I don't think Jackson had ever done it either. And
Yeah.
we went up to the dam right there coming out of, I believe that's the Wilson Dam going into Pickwick.
Yeah,
And man, the fishing was incredible. We got over in some like little slack current along with probably 20 other boats at least. Everywhere you look, there was a bunch of
A little bit
boats
of a
and
boat show.
everybody was catching them. It was unreal to watch. Like we would catch one, 2 minutes would go by, another one would catch a 4-pounder, another 20 minutes, someone would catch a 5-pounder. Jackson caught one almost a 6-pound smallmouth. We had 20 pounds of smallmouth in like 2.5 hours. And everyone who was there was like, yeah, there was like 40 boats here, but everyone caught them. We spotlight right here all day at 21 pounds. I'm like, okay, well, this is clearly where it went down.
Y'all are in the wrong area. So then I guess not even fast forward one day, y'all drove to Wheeler that night and met me.
Yep.
And that week, that was the most I've ever talked to a team in practice in my life. I've never we were really like sharing info. We both weren't really on much, but we're like, oh, we can probably get some bites. I think we were both fishing bluffs and blah, blah, blah. Tournament day rolls around. You want to talk about how for me, I've never been that off in my college fishing career on the weights. I was usually would have a good idea of what it was going to take. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we pulled up and on day 1 we went scoping in the morning and we had 2 little ones,
2 for 2.5 pounds.
Yeah, and then pull up on this one bluff. I think we had 2 bites in practice, and I caught one almost 4-pound smallmouth, and then Cody just started putting on a show on a jig, and next thing you know we have 16 pounds. We're like, dang, we're gonna be top 10. We got a pretty good sack. And then we saw you guys and we told you we had 16 and you guys thought we were lying to you. And then
you're like, oh, they don't have crap.
No. And then we end up, Cody ends up catching a couple more good ones. And we don't know what we have. And then we weighed in, we get to the scales, and next thing you know, we hear 19, 20.
There's so many 20-pound bags right in front of us.
19.
And we're like, what the hell? We're sitting 18.5 pounds. We're in 20th place.
I thought 18.5 would be top 5.
Yeah.
Guaranteed top 10, but
I think we were talking I think we had 14 or just under 15. I can't really remember. But I was like, all right, we'll probably be in the mid 40s, 30s. We'll have a shot to, we catch a big bag tomorrow and y'all will be in the top 10, right? And there, we're it's just so off. Literally, I've never been that off. And I was like, well, I guess I should have stayed retired from college fishing because these guys catch them too good now.
Every time. They always do.
Every single time. Oh, it was crazy. I thought MLF put on a great tournament for us. It was really fun. It seemed like it was one of those things in the Tennessee River. I'm sure other people know this. The fish the Tennessee River. It's some days all the bigs want to bite. I don't know how else to describe it. It happens on Chickamauga every once in a while. And you can literally pull up to the boat ramp and you're sometimes you can be all right, I think they're going to bite today. And it's the most incredible day of fishing of your entire life. It's every bank you go down, you catch a 5, 6. Like one day on Chickamauga, I remember I was practicing. I think it was for the Wheeler tournament, like the Jacob Wheeler tournament. It was just one of those days. First bluff, I think I was fishing bluffs and below the tail raise. First bluff I pulled up to, I lost like an 8 or 9 pounder on a jig. And then like next cast caught a 5. Went up to the tail raise, caught like 2, 4.5, 3. It was just incredible. It was one of those days, and that's all I can really reason to what happened on Wheeler the first day. Right?
Day 2 was like normal. It was like
day 2 was about how we expected it to
like
go.
we would have needed 15 pounds in the top 10 after, like jump 10 spots.
Literally.
It's like that's what we thought it was going to be.
So I do have a funny, not to take the show, but I do have a funny story I want to tell. I told you all, but it'd be kind of funny to tell everyone else. So I had the worst net job of my entire fishing career. They might be over after that, but we'll see. Maybe I'll fish in our tournaments. I don't really know yet. Jackson, first fish of the day. We've got the net out. Net's, I think is ready to go. It's one of those Ego Tech nets, and I guess you have to screw it in. I've never heard of screwing in a net. Like I'm usually thinking I grab the net the fish, right? So I go there. I try to net this fish, this 3.5 pound smallmouth, and like I literally have it in the net and it dumps out. Like the net, like I have the fish in the net, bringing it out of the water, and the thing just turns like 180 on me. Fish falls over. I go for it again. I slip on the gunnel, fall all the way to the back deck. I fall over the over the passenger seat. Like I literally couldn't even get up. Like I was paralyzed. Like, oh my gosh, what just happened? We lost the smallmouth. We should have not that it was a big bag. We would have moved up some. We should have 15-ish pounds that day. But I was like, that was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my entire fishing career. I was like, it's embarrassing. He's like, oh, you got to screw the net down. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? You don't ever think about that.
That's unreal.
Yeah. But I guess we just kind of wrapped up, 3 relatively tough-ish tournaments. Not that we need to dive into all your guys' tournaments, but I guess let's talk about that. College fishing is still fun. People might get the impression that that's all bad. Like Matt did catch a 10-pounder, is incredible.
Yeah.
In a tournament. That's so cool. Remember that forever. But one thing I want to say here is think about all the stories you guys have just told from 3 tournaments. Like I've had stories I've been telling for 4 years of those kind of tournaments. That's a cool thing about college fishing. Is anything to say about that? Like how many stories you can just tell from all these tournaments you fish traveling all over the country.
I mean, each week's a new story in itself. There's always something that happens, something crazy, something good, something bad. And it's just like all of those put together. It's just so many amazing memories that you're going to remember for a lifetime, no doubt. Like you said, I'd say, honestly, probably the coolest part about college fishing isn't even the tournament itself. It's probably the portion of the week where you're at the Airbnb with all your best friends. There's
exactly
anywhere from 10 to 20 dudes in one big giant Airbnb, and everyone's, just hanging out, having a good time. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm very grateful for, the position I'm in to be able to enjoy an opportunity like that. And it's amazing to see, especially it's a very cutthroat sport and it gets very competitive at times, but it's really refreshing to see everyone coming back to the house and everyone could just go to bed and not talk to each other and not say a word, but we're actually pretty good about it. Everyone's, chatting it up, hanging out. I mean, the night before the after day 1 of Eufaula, we were up till 2 a.m. We were just up till 2 a.m. hanging out with everyone, got 2 or 3 hours of sleep and made it to the boat ramp, and it was a great time. So
happy y'all are keeping that tradition up.
Yeah.
Really happy. Good. So people might be thinking so these kids travel all over the country, obviously the sponsorship money. Can you talk about kind of how it gets paid for and all that? Do you know what I mean by that? You guys pay for this, don't pay for this. I guess maybe dive into that. You can probably, toot our own horn as Tennessee that we're very fortunate the sponsors we have. Kind of Matt or Cody, you guys want to dive into that?
Yeah. So we get pretty lucky, being the University of Tennessee. I mean, with the sponsors we get, they just love our brand, our image. And I would say our social media does a pretty good job of representing that as well. So that's really how everything gets paid for. We don't get much from the school, being a club, not like these other schools, like these private schools and stuff like that. They get school money from the school. We don't really get that. It's all sponsor money. So Cody and I work all summer. to get that money in or to get these sponsorships. And then, throughout the year we use the money. And so, yeah, housing gets paid for, gas gets paid for. I think ever since my freshman year, we've always been able to do those two.
Yeah.
And then we actually do now, we do like a team dinner after either like before the first day of the tournament or after the last day of the tournament. We'll go out to a Mexican restaurant or something like fun, and we'll pay for the
back.
Yeah, exactly. We're having a good time. We probably end up staying there way longer than they want us to. But yeah, that's kind of what gets paid for. We pay our entry fees. We keep any money that we win, which is nice. Nothing has to go back to the club. And that's kind of what happens for in terms of reimbursements and stuff. And the reimbursement deal, it's pretty simple. I mean, you just keep your receipts. They give you the money. It's not really an issue ever. So yeah,
totally.
I would say even my freshman year too, we weren't doing full reimbursements.
No.
We were partials, especially like the fall when I first got here. I don't even know if we were doing half yet. We were just doing you get $100, you get $100, and not even enough to fill up my tank of diesel. But now, yeah, we're full reimbursement, truck and boat gas. We've got a great team of sponsors behind us that help make this a reality for us. Take a little bit less out of our pockets and our parents' pockets, and make the team pretty well running team, especially to be able to fund eight boats at every tournament and 8 trucks of hauling all across the country.
Yeah, I mean, I just tendered a reimbursement for over $1,000 for this 3 weeks. Like, we wouldn't be able to do that without the sponsors that help us out. It's we're pretty fortunate in that sense.
It is nice to just see how much, like I talked about this earlier, definitely, Tennessee being my alumni, I love talking about it, but it is great to see how much it's evolved. You know what I mean? Like, freshman year, I literally didn't get one reimbursement. I fished every single tournament. Me and Chris, my buddy Chris Payne, he actually did. It's awesome. I probably shouldn't dive into that sort of every single tournament together, and we didn't get reimbursed one time. The sophomore year got a little bit better. I think or junior year got a little bit better. That's when y'all came on, and it was just like, now I think it's the best it can be. Getting reimbursed every tournament. Y'all are going out to get team dinners, hanging out. It's really fun. Y'all are really a team, but more friends, and I think that's
definitely. Yeah, and we hang out outside of fishing too. We go out on the weekends. Half of us are in the same fraternity. Like, it feels like, so it's kind of fun in that sense. I guess, sorry to cut you off, but definitely talk about the fishing, school, balance, fraternity life. Like, y'all, I was in a fraternity. I kind of felt like the fishing team was my fraternity, but it is cool to see y'all are both in a fraternity, able to y'all fish almost every tournament still. It's cool that you guys can do all of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Going back to being very blessed, there's a lot of opportunities here at the University of Tennessee, and I'm trying to take full advantage of them all. So yeah, I knew coming into school I wanted to be on the fishing team. That was like my biggest thing about coming here. And then I didn't even have a single clue what like Greek life was, fraternity was. I got a text from someone that was like, hey, come to this open house, come check it out. So I did, and met a bunch of the guys in the fraternity, really liked it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll join. It's another group of like-minded individuals. So, I mean, there's never a shortage of things to do. I feel like every single day I'm at school, I'm either grinding in class, grinding in the library, or I'm hanging out with friends. There's, some event going on for the fishing team. We're gone for a week for a tournament. There's some event going on for our fraternity. It's just like every single day is filled, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's so much fun. You get to meet all kinds of people and do all kinds of different things. But the balance of it all, I mean, it's not easy. We don't get anything officially excused from the university. That's definitely our biggest downfall, just being gone. But I haven't had any issues with grades. I haven't failed any classes. I'm still trucking. I think I've got a 3.7 GPA. I'm able to take off school for 3 weeks at a time. And the biggest part of it all is just you got to become buddies with your professor and just tell them, this is me, this is my life, this is what we're doing. And we're going to have to work through this some way. I know you're probably not going to like that I'm gone this much, but we're going to have to figure out something, some sort of communication and, thing I can do when I get back to, make up for all this stuff I'm missing. And a lot of them are really cool about it. And actually, most of them that I've talked to are pretty fascinated by it. They want to know all about the bass team. You know, they're showing me pictures of the fish that they used to catch back when they were young, and they were like, so it's kind of cool to see. Obviously, we really appreciate the professors that, you know, excuse a lot of our work for us.
Totally. So being an SEC school, honest, I know that's the reason I went to Tennessee, but I definitely would like you guys to talk about what you guys do outside of fishing. Like, obviously, our football games. Can I touch on all that? I would love to talk here, but it's your guys' time. I would like you guys to talk.
Yeah, I would say the fall for us is a lot less fishing and a lot more like social events. That definitely hurts our school of the year. Trying to get people to go to Dardanelle to maybe catch a limit versus stay and, you know, go to the 100,000 person Florida football game that's in town. You know, that's kind of our downfall, I would say, for fishing wise, but definitely, I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world. I love fishing. Obviously, I love doing all that, but you get 4 years of college to, you know, experience the football games and the social events and the stuff going on during the week, you know, through the fraternity and like through the fishing team. I mean, we have a fishing formal coming up here in a couple weeks too. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I would say outside of fishing, it's definitely the fall's the best time to be at Tennessee. And I mean, the baseball games in the spring and the basketball games in the winter, I mean, it's nonstop. Like if you want to go to any sporting event, or I mean, the bars and stuff are always fun to go to. So.
Maybe a little bit of fun. Yeah. We all
tend to go every once in a while. But yeah, that's kind of, I mean, that's what I do outside of fishing here. And yeah, school obviously, but
school.
We job done at school.
Usually fish and go out and go to football games.
Yeah,
I did at school.
I would say, I mean, we don't get to do any like type of formal recruiting, but that's our biggest recruiting is just the university itself. I mean, if you want to go to the most well-rounded college there is and you still want to go bass fish, this is definitely the place for you. I mean, our football games, we got 108,000, I think it is, at every single one. You know, our baseball teams, they were number one in the country for so long. Our basketball team's unbelievable. And it's just like, you know, I mean, I bass fish probably 2 times a week, sometimes 3 times a week, and I'm still able to do all my fraternity events. I'm still able to go to all these sporting events. That's what I mean when I say every day is packed full of stuff just going on. And I mean, we don't give any scholarships out. We're not a team, we're a club. But I mean, if you want to come to a 4-year university and have the time of your life, and you know, you're going to bass fish just as competitively as the rest of these schools. I mean, it's not to say our program lacks any talent. You know, we got an Elite Series guy, Robert G, up there, straight UT alumni. He bass fished, I don't know, 4 or 5 years for us. I mean, I don't know if he ever actually graduated, you know, but he's an alumni. That's all I know. And he's on the Elite Series and he's doing really well. So, you know, it's not to say it can't be done here as well. I mean, it's got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and I would say for the recruiting thing, like I didn't even think I was going to fish when I came here. Like I fished a bunch at home, and then I joined a fraternity and met Cody. And he's like, "Hey, you want to come to the fishing meeting?" And then I showed up, and you're there, and I was like, "Oh God, like I guess I'll fish. I'll drive my boat out, I guess."
I remember calling you. I was driving back from Dardanelle, and you were driving from California. And I'm like, "You better be fishing every mother effing dirt fish. You're coming to everything. You're not missing one of them." And it's just cool to see that you didn't want to fish here, and now you're the VP of the team, and you go to almost every single event.
That's literally like maybe a month in, I was like, all right, this is what I'm doing. Like, I came here to you know, go to school and join a fraternity, and I was like,
party. Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to fit. Like, this is pretty awesome, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's been great.
Yeah, it's just cool to see people don't realize that at big time school like Tennessee, you can still fish competitively, but still have, you know, all of the fun college activities that people talk about, going out, going to football games, partying. If you're into that, it's cool to see that all of that happens at Tennessee. Sometimes maybe that's our downfall as a team. I don't know. Kind of feel like that was it when I was there, but we had fun. And I think that's really, really what matters. Can you guys talk about, I mean, it's still why, you know, we sponsor you as GSM. When I got on, I was like, well, we got to have Tennessee. They probably kill it. They're top 5 in social media and college fishing. Talk a little about the social media that you guys do and how it helps you guys get sponsors. Even with Bridgeford Star social media when I was there, that's all we got sponsored by them. Kind of what do you guys do? All that stuff.
Yeah, social media is, I mean, that's what drives the industry now. I mean, you know, you're there, you're the man for GSM. You're the social media guy himself. And I mean, that's what it all is now. And I mean, it makes total sense. You know, insights are what, you know, fuels everything. So we were pretty fortunate when I came on. Actually, social media, the Instagram was well established. It wasn't necessarily like performing as it should be, just for the caliber of a team that we are. And that was kind of my goal, is, you know, figuring out how we're going to be able to keep the posts super consistent 2-3 times a week, and you know, find all the content for it. So we went through like some trial and error stuff, and I got it running pretty well when I was doing it, and then I handed it over to Luca. And then it just gets better and better every year. We come up with more ideas on how to be, you know, more engaging with the audience that we're, you know, catering to. And I mean, the social media aspect of it, there's a lot that goes into it. Being the social media guy, you know, it's always a struggle getting content from people, always a struggle to the right things, you know, things like that. And you know, the team gets better and better at it every year. We always hone in on the guys, like, look, we need you to send us stuff, you know, and we can always hold it. Like, you want to get reimbursed, then we're going to need a couple tackle tips out of you.
I love it.
So it's just things like that. And we, obviously it's not perfect as it is now, but it's a million times better than it's ever been before. We got more followers than we ever had, and we're reaching more people than we ever have. So that part of it's really cool to see. And some of it just comes with different opportunities in the industry that get your name out there.
Yep, exactly. I love it. Well, you guys got anything else you want to say about Tennessee fishing before you come? Any last recruiting advice? You know, reach out.
Recruiting advice. It's not hard at all to join the team. We send out, you know, if you want to reach out to the UT fishing team Instagram, that's the best way. Just send a direct message who you are, that you're interested. Send your number in there. And then odds are you'll probably be hearing from me, a phone call. And then I'll answer any questions you guys got. I always tell the people, whoever reaches out to me, like, you know, even beyond fishing, you know, if you're like, you don't want to come to UT, that's fine, but you got questions about college. I've probably lived through it now. I've been doing this for 3 years, moving on to my senior year in like a month, which is crazy to say, but if you got any questions about anything, I'm always there to answer them. When I came onto this team, you and Teddy were both like very open to talking to me, and I really appreciated that. It made me feel like I was part of a family. And so I try and do the same for everyone else that calls, you know, and even if you want to go fishing for a day and you're around Knoxville, I'd be happy to do that too. So just make sure you reach out, and it's not hard at all. You just got to get into the University of Tennessee itself. That's probably the hardest part for you.
For sure it is now.
Yeah, when we were freshmen, it was, if you applied, basically, it felt like you got in. Now it's like,
gosh, it was so it was, even when I was there, it was like, yeah, if you got above a 3.0, you're pretty much getting in.
Yeah, I mean, I got scholarship like to come here. I don't even think I can get in anymore with my grades.
I did too, actually. I got a scholarship to come here to go there. It was small, but I was like, dang, I didn't think I was that smart. Well, guys, I really appreciate you jumping on. I'm happy to see the team is still in good hands. And, you know, thanks everyone for joining. Tune in to the next episode of the Think Outside Fishing Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh, this is